I hope you're doing well this morning. I hope things are going good for you, or this afternoon, whenever it may be that you see this. Some of you know last week we jumped into First John and we started just going through and taking kind of an overview look. We did this several months ago on Wednesday night, spent several weeks in the book of First John. Had a wonderful study. I love the first century writers. They really challenge us very directly. Sometimes you have to read into it a little bit to see it. Sometimes you have to know some of the history around it. But their challenges are very direct and not in a confrontational way, but in a this is the root of the issue way. And so we're going to continue on with that same theme today in 1 John in chapter 2. And 1 John in chapter 1, we talked about how that God has called us into relationship with Him. And then the fallout of that, if you will, the result of that, the possibility of that, is then we're called into relationship with each other. And then John kind of says, oh, and by the way, if that's the case, we're going to have some problems. And this is what he says. We know that we have come to know Him if we keep His commandments. Whoever says, I know Him, but does not do what He commands is a liar, and the truth is not in that person. But if anyone obeys His word, love for God is truly made complete in them. This is how we know we are in Him. Whoever claims to live in Him must live as Jesus did. Then he goes on, he says this, Dear friends, I am not writing you a new command, but an old one which you have had since the beginning. This old command is the message you have heard, yet I am writing you a new command. Its truth is seen in Him and in you, because the darkness is passing and the true light is already shining. And then we get our point of culmination here. Anyone who claims to be in the light but hates a brother or sister is still in the darkness. Anyone who loves their brother and sister lives in the light. So John says, hey, look, you're called into a relationship with God, and because of that, you're called into a relationship with each other, and now you have to live it out. You have to do it. You have to be a part of it. And so then he kind of reassures his readers, because he says, by the way, this is how it's always been. A right relationship with God always leads to right relationships with each other, because it's a little bit worrisome. He makes a statement, this new command. We don't like new things. We like new things. We don't like change. And so as he's telling them there's a new thing, he's also reassuring them this is how it's always been. A right relationship with God has always led to a right relationship with each other. And you can go read the Old Testament, and you can read Isaiah and Job and others who say, hey, listen, Micah, what is it that God calls you to do but to love mercy and to walk humbly before God, and to do justice for others. And so the responsibility of a relationship with God is a relationship with others. But John realizes, hey, this is a sticking point. This is a problematic thing for us. And then he says this, and I love it, and I'm not going to read it all to you because you can read it. It's in 1 John, and it's beginning in verse chapter 12. He says, I am writing to you, dear children, because your sins have been forgiven on account of His name. We don't try and work at having a right relationship with others based on our strength. We do it in the hope that we have that God has forgiven us through Jesus. And we live in that hope. And because of that hope, we go back to relationships over and over with love, generosity, kindness, humility, because that's how God received us. He came to us in not any animosity nor anger, but He comes to us in love and humility. Remember, we're approaching Christmas. He came to us as a small baby, completely able to be set aside by others, ignored by others, and even lived His life in the culmination of that. And that is our hope. So we're called into this. It's a beautiful thing. We get to live it out in the hope. And he goes on to say this, do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in them. And when he's saying the world, he's saying the idea that you and I can have what we want and discard everything that God's called us into. No, rather, having what we want is recognizing our relationship with God, living into that relationship with others. I hope you have a great week. It will be a difficult week for you in some ways. Maybe it's specifically in the areas of relationship, but know this, God has called you into it, and He will carry you through it. God bless you.